It's like this is the clearest like fixed fight you're ever gonna see. But look at this guy holding his hands up and watch. Look at this. He like literally shows him his chin,
like,
and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at, I mean, he's got nothing.
I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, "Please be easy on me." He thought I'm Mike Tyson, and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators. I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw.
The day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing. I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you, in that age, I could have put that clown in the first round, but I sold my soul. And
you could only take so much, and at a certain, like that one that he got from Joshua, ooh. You know, say if you have like a punch card, you have like so many punches that you can get in your life, which I believe you do. I believe there's a certain number. That one was like 10 punches.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah. It was a lot of concussions.
Some people say this is just boxing, that injuries happen and everyone should move on. But context matters. This was never presented as ordinary boxing. It was marketed as legitimacy without being fully earned. And when marketing outruns reality, someone always pays the price. In this case, that price was paid in bone, metal, and long-term consequences that no one now wants to publicly take responsibility for.
Anthony Joshua's gigantic.
So big.
He's so big. He's so much bigger. So, of course, like, his punch that he knocks Tyron Woodley out cold with, Joshua just eats it.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant.
Yeah.
He's a fucking giant man.
So big, dude.
He's so big.
I don't think Jake Paul is evil. I think he's a product, and products are pushed until they break. When they do, blame shifts from the manufacturer to the user, the environment, or bad luck. But luck doesn't schedule fights, people do. And decisions always carry consequences, whether anyone wants to accept them afterward or not. A chilling effect is coming. Fighters will hesitate. Commissions will question approvals. Insurers will tighten coverage. And when easy money dries up, loyalty disappears and praise turns into distance. Fans may enjoy spectacle, but they still crave authenticity, something Anthony Joshua delivered in its rawest form, making it harder to sell diluted versions of reality going forward.
Jake Paul, pin him down and hurt him. That has been the request leading up, and that was on my mind. It took a bit longer than expected, but the right hand finally found it.
Then came the rumors. Days after the fight, allegations began circulating that Jake Paul had attempted to bribe Anthony Joshua before the bout.
Then came the rumors. Days after the fight, allegations surfaced that Jake Paul had attempted to bribe Anthony Joshua beforehand. I keep replaying the knockout in my head, and each time it looks worse. Because this was never just about Jake Paul getting hurt, it was a business model colliding with real violence in front of millions. And when that happens, promoters, executives, and partners don't rush toward truth. They rush toward leverage, protection, silence, and damage control. You can feel that tension in every carefully worded statement and every unanswered question hanging in the air. Jake Paul didn't build a traditional boxing career. He engineered a controlled ecosystem, handpicked opponents, softened narratives, managed risks. But those systems only work as long as everyone agrees to play their role. The moment Anthony Joshua refused to cooperate and fought him like a true heavyweight, the illusion collapsed instantly, and confidence was replaced by panic.
Seemed to me like sparring.
Yeah.
When I watched it, which, you know, look, I paid for it. They got me. I thought it was going to be a real fight, but I'm not mad.
Had $1 million on.
That's the problem. Yeah. That's why, look, maybe it was a real fight. Maybe that's just the level that they both fight at. But, you know, it seemed a little sus, you know.
People keep calling it bravery. And yes, stepping into a ring with Anthony Joshua takes courage. But bravery without wisdom becomes liability. Liability is something networks insure against, while fighters absorb the damage. That's why this situation feels wrong. Someone approved this matchup knowing the gap, the danger, and the likely outcome. Approval always equals responsibility, even when no one wants to claim it. What makes this truly unsettling isn't just the injury, it's the precedent. Once an influencer brand is allowed to test itself against elite heavyweight power, the ceiling is no longer unknown. Every future crossover fight now exists in the shadow of Anthony Joshua's right hand, stripping promoters of plausible deniability in one violent, unforgettable moment.
I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective, I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to move around the ring.
The fallout was predictable, not the exact punch, but the consequences. Boxing history is filled with moments where entertainment pushed past common sense and paid for it. It always starts with jokes, then curiosity, then concern, and finally regret. Right now, the sport is sitting squarely between concern and regret, where stories shift and timelines quietly get rewritten behind closed doors. I refuse to believe everyone involved was naive. These are professionals who understand force, damage, and risk curves. That means the gamble was intentional. And intentional gambles imply someone was expected to lose. What's disturbing is that the outcome clearly wasn't supposed to look this final, this decisive, or this exposing, which is usually where truth begins to leak out.
So nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist, a guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god. And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy? And he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Mike Tyson's comments about memory loss still linger with me, because those weren't throwaway lines, they were warning flares. And flares are never fired accidentally. Whether the cause is physical, psychological, or emotional, it added an unease that was never resolved, only buried under hype. Joshua's knockout dug it back up for everyone to see. Fighters watching this don't see drama or controversy. They see timing, distance, intent, and the terrifying moment when Jake Paul realized the rules had changed and the safety net was imaginary. Imaginary safety nets are how careers end abruptly. That's why the reaction behind the scenes has been far colder and more serious than the public commentary suggests.
I mean, I told everyone, though, that I would do better than Francis, and that Francis kind of got no chin.
So
Francis low-key soft.
You made it further than Francis.
Yeah.
So I mean, by 6, he won 6 rounds.
You know what that means.
What?
Joe Rogan's shift in tone after the fight wasn't moral outrage, it was recognition. When someone who has witnessed decades of combat damage tells you to think about retirement, it's not about ego or headlines. It's about preventing the next tragedy. You don't make those pleas unless you recognize a line has been crossed, from spectacle into warning sign territory.
What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because we in the business of boxing. That right there is just exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight. But yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in there fight. I'm still the one that be thinking.
What we're witnessing now is reputation management in real time. When clarity takes this long to emerge, it usually means narratives are being negotiated and aligned. If everything were straightforward, answers would already exist. Instead, we're getting noise, distractions, and reframing, which only deepens suspicion and makes the entire situation feel layered, filtered, and deeply uncomfortable.
I mean, Simon, when you look at it, Jake Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, jaw broken, heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
Anthony Joshua is neither the hero nor the villain in this story. He is the accelerant. He didn't create the system, he exposed it sooner than planned. And exposure is dangerous when control is the real currency. Control over opponents, narratives, and outcomes is what kept the machine running. Joshua took that control away with a single punch. What stays with me is Joshua afterward, not celebrating, not posturing, but looking almost irritated. Because for him, this wasn't history or controversy. It was work. That contrast matters. It exposes the mental distance between real fighters and manufactured stars. And once that gap becomes visible, it can't be unseen, not by fans, not by promoters, and not by commissions. Jake Paul now carries something heavier than bruises. Confidence after a moment like that becomes performative. Anyone who has watched combat sports long enough knows performative confidence gets people hurt. The body remembers what the mouth tries to deny. Fear doesn't need permission to surface when timing collapses. Promoters will never admit it publicly, but the math has changed. Anthony Joshua didn't just win a fight, he shattered a risk model. And when models break, panic starts in spreadsheets long before it reaches microphones. That's why the meetings behind closed doors are likely louder than any press conference we've seen. Joe Rogan wasn't exaggerating when he spoke about punch limits. Fighters age differently than influencers. Elite heavyweights compress damage into moments that permanently alter careers and lives. Once you've seen that power up close, you don't negotiate with it again. You either respect it, or you walk away. Mike Tyson's presence in this ecosystem now feels darker in hindsight. When legends begin questioning their own decisions out loud, it usually means an internal line has been crossed. That line isn't about money or ego. It's about identity and regret. Fans who insist this is all fake are missing the most dangerous truth. Fake narratives collapse the moment real consequences appear. Jaw plates, memory gaps, and visible fear don't belong to scripted entertainment. They belong to collision with reality. Anthony Joshua didn't humiliate Jake Paul.